Chinese New Year looks beautiful. If you Google it, you'll see phrases like fireworks, red lanterns, family reunion, and food. So much food. All technically correct. But what Google doesn't tell you is this. Chinese New Year stops being a wholesome holiday once you grow up. So in this video, I'm gonna explain how adults view Chinese New Year differently from kids and the reasons behind it. And don't worry, you don't need to be Chinese to understand this. First, let's talk about the tradition you're most interested in, red envelopes. For those who haven't seen red envelopes, this is what they look like. These are small red packets filled with cash, given during Chinese New Year. In most cases, they're given from the older generation to younger. The cash amount really depends on your family habits and where you are. It varies from hundreds to thousands of RMB. When you are a child, red envelopes are pure magic. It's like our version of Christmas gifts, okay? It's just our Santas are somebody we know. You don't ask for them, you don't even need to make a wish. You just show up and get rewarded for existing. So an adult hands you a red envelope. You say thank you. You get it with both hands. You secretly feel the thickness of it. And that's all you need to do. When you're an adult, the flow reverses. You're no longer receiving red envelopes. You're preparing them. And this is where the illusion dies. I'll explain how to prepare red envelopes quickly. The amount you give is not a personal choice. It's based on a silent group agreement. If everyone gives 500 and you give 200, you look cheap. If everyone gives 500 and you give 800, you don't look generous. You look like you've broken fairness. So the safest strategy is not the more generous, the better. It's getting information. So adults quietly ask each other, how much are you giving? Because they want to make synchronized moves. It also depends on how much your child received. If my child received 500 from you, I'm expected to give something similar or slightly more back to your child. That's considered fair. But this is where it gets tricky. Some families have one kid, some have two, some have three. And within the same family, every child must receive the same amount. No favorites allowed, no variation allowed. So if the numbers don't balance out neatly, the difference doesn't disappear. It gets paid back later, through meals, favors, or other red envelopes. Trust me, Chinese people never forget numbers. They just store them in their heads and keep calculating them. The worst position to be in? Having no children. You don't receive any red envelopes, but you're still expected to give them. So, only when I grew up did I understand why my parents always asked me, how much did your auntie give you? How about uncles? Now I know their accounting is necessary. They needed those numbers to keep relationships balanced, to make sure no one owed too much and no one felt shorted. As a kid, I thought red envelopes were gifts from the universe. As an adult, I realized something much less magical. Every red envelope I ever received was money my parents had already paid into the system. It just came back with a delay. Now, we're moving on to the next reason why Chinese New Year is brutal for adults. The only worse thing than giving away money is being interrogated where you got it from. Therefore, you'll get endless questions. It's basically an annual life performance review in front of all the people in your family you know or don't know. It's actually quite easy to predict the questions because all the questions will fall into one of exactly three categories: money, relationship status, reproduction. For example, here's a classic question bank. From what are you doing for work now? To is your job stable? Then the ultimate one. So, how much do you make per year? Then comes relationships, like Are you seeing anyone? Huh, still single? You know, at your age. Notice how this question is never neutral. There's no correct answer, only acceptable levels of disappointment. And finally, reproduction. If you are already married, they'll ask, when will you have kids? Not if, when. This is getting endless because if you have kids already, they'll definitely ask about your plan for more kids. And here's the important part people often misunderstand. Are your relatives asking because they dislike you? Actually, no. They're asking out of a strange mix of curiosity, comparison, and concern. If you're doing badly, they feel genuinely uncomfortable. They don't want you to suffer. But if you are doing too well, that's uncomfortable too. Because now your success quietly changes the balance in the room. They want you to be okay. Just not so okay that it forces everyone else to rethink their own life. In Chinese culture, your life is never just yours. It's a shared reference point. Here, I don't want to criticize this mindset because I think this is just in people's nature. It's a very human kind of contradiction. Okay, now we move on to the next reason. You are not allowed to fight or argue during New Year. If a disagreement starts to form, someone will say one sentence, 大过年的, which basically means, it's the new year, let it go. And it works instantly. But nothing really gets resolved. Everything just gets paused. Problems are being suspended. You keep telling yourself, I'll deal with this later. Later comes fast. That's why every year after the holiday is over, there's a noticeable rise in breakups and divorces. So when holiday ends, you'll need to carry all those questions, that unsolved stuff, and go back to work. You'll take them with you to the train station. Which brings the last reason we're going to talk about. It's extremely hard to travel now. Spring Festival travel in China has its own name, 春运, which literally means spring transportation. Just imagine, everybody is trying to get back to where they work at the same time. This period is often described as the largest annual human migration on Earth. In 春运 season, people make billions of trips by train, plane, bus, car, anything that moves. Stations and airports look like everybody in the city is packed in here. If you tried buying a train ticket during this season, you know what I'm talking about. It's pure nightmare. Train tickets can sell out in seconds. Flight prices triple. You refresh the app over and over, hoping something comes up. Some years ago, there was news that one guy who couldn't get a ticket ended up joining a tour group just so he could get on a bus and make the Spring Festival trip. And even if you do get a ticket, the trip itself isn't easy. Look at the stations. People sit on the floor, on their luggage, anywhere they can. Long hours sitting or standing, no personal space. It's exhausting. And the thing is, this isn't a one-time experience. Because a week earlier, you already had to go through the same thing just to get to your hometown to see your family. So you arrive exhausted, do all the required family stuff, and then repeat the same struggle in reverse to get back to work. So those are the reasons why adults are a bit scared of Chinese New Year now. If it sounds intense, that's because it is. For adults, it's less about celebration and more about maintaining a very subtle system. But still, I will keep celebrating it. Overall, it's a tasty and beautiful festival. For family, it's a long tradition. And for kids, it's still magic. And honestly, I don't mind doing some emotional labor for them. Just once a year. Thanks for watching. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm Leo. See you next time. Bye for now.